My name's Chris Dilbeck. I'm the motorsports sales manager for PFC Brakes. Been around racing for over 20 years. Been at PFC for going on 9 years now. We are the only brake company in the world that builds 100% of the braking components here in-house. There's not another brake company, especially in the professional motorsports market, that builds brake pads, brake discs, hats, calipers, the whole 9 yards in-house, and we're the only company in the world that does that. You know, we stand behind no compromises because we don't cut any corners on the racetrack. In the plant here, there are no compromises, and we stand behind that. From the racing side to our aftermarket to our OE platforms, we do not cut any corners, and that's what we stand behind. PFC isn't just a racing company. You know, our roots are in racing, our DNA's in racing, but we are heavily involved with the refuse companies, garbage trucks, sanitation vehicles. There's a lot of different, rental vehicles that we're involved with. We're also heavily involved with a lot of the OE companies, police interceptors, different vehicles like that, a lot of our racers at home may have some ties to those types of vehicles. Even everyone that pulls their trailer with a F350, 450, 550, we have a lot of pad offerings for those vehicles as well. So we're not just a racing company, we're involved in just about everything from top to bottom, whether it's OE, aftermarket, or medium duty, severe duty truck. And so we have a lot of different offerings for that, and you can see that on pfcbrakes.com as well. The PFC Brakes originated as a pad company, and our brake pads are still one of the things that set us apart from competition today. We have been fortunate enough to be able to dyno bed our NASCAR pads for several years now. It saves track time, saves the teams from having to bed their brakes in on the racetrack, and we've also added in our disc bedding to go with that as well. So if you can bed your pads and your discs prior to getting to the racetrack, it saves a lot of time on the racetrack. NASCAR guys can unload off the track, go straight to a mock qualifying run if they want to. We've started to offer that on our short track line of pads and discs as well, to where you can bolt them straight on, go to the racetrack, and not have to worry about wasting any time bedding your discs and pads. We have an in-house dyno that we use for our dyno bedding. That's the same dyno we use for our NASCAR pads. You can see that when we start out with a fresh disc, we have no lubricants whatsoever when we cut our discs. It's a nice shiny finish to our brake disc. We install that disc on our dyno, and then we install the caliper with a fresh set of pads, bed the discs and pads in, just like you would at the racetrack, and you can see a nice gray slate finish on the disc once it's bedded in properly from the ID to the OD, just to make sure that you know when the transfer layer's been installed properly on your disc. Just another one of the things we do here at PFC to help our short track racers and our professional motorsports racers from top to bottom. It's a company built by racers, and we try to keep that going as far as the sales and technical standpoint. We pour all of our trial and error and issues we've had in the past into helping our customers not have those issues. In a couple of weeks at the Snowball Derby, we will put brake pressure gauges on every PFC customer's car. Any customer with the PFC calipers and the full brake system, we inspect their pedal box, we make sure their balance bar is where it needs to be. We give them what their pressure is front to rear so they know where they're starting out for that whole week. So brakes are the last thing they have to worry about. During the COVID situation, we're a little more confident, had a little more ability to go after a lot of the local racers in the U.S., knowing that things couldn't come in overseas and things like that. But now, that being said, we do ship overseas to Porsche Germany, different companies that are overseas. We have a UK office, so we had to work through some of those challenges, but we were successful in doing that, and we've been able to kind of overcome a lot of the COVID racing issues that a lot of other companies have. PRI has been huge for us, especially in the last 5 to 6 years. Just having that face-to-face interaction with a lot of the customers that we've talked to throughout the year. It's always refreshing to have a customer come up to you and say, hey, I'm so-and-so from Montana, you helped me figure out my balance bar issues, you got me on your brake fluid, it solved a lot of issues. Or even customers that don't use our components we've helped out. That gives us an opportunity to kind of show them some of the offerings, like this caliper you see here, this 94 caliper. They can come and see these things in person at the show, and it's just a way to get hands-on interaction with the customers, which is something we're really going to miss this year because of the COVID issues. So, we're going to still go to the racetrack, still get hands-on with the race cars and the brake systems, and hopefully we'll have PRI back next year. Best way to learn more is to go to pfcbrakes.com. You can follow us on our social channels at PFC Brakes, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We have a weekly newsletter that goes out, breaking news, where we update everyone on all of our wins from the past weekend. We've got the Snowball Derby coming up here soon, and we're hoping we can win that one. I'm Chris Dilbeck, and I am PRI.